Pete, thanks for joining me. Uncertainty, certainty, that was the conundrum for today. You're seen as, one of the biggest players, obviously. Are you immune from uncertainty?
Not at all, far from it. This thing we talked about today and across our two speeches, James did a great talk on wholesale market outlook. I think we've probably got a bit more certainty there if we can have it than we have over stuff like TCR, which Benoit commented on. I think short term we've got a much clearer view, but in future years it should be a concern for everybody, and I think it's about looking at ways in which we can work with customers and intermediaries to provide the right products and services to meet that uncertainty.
Our sort of, when Johnny was going around today and talking to people, many brokers were feeling elements of worry, but others said, you know what, I'm just getting on with it. What do you see the overwhelming attitude from the brokers you speak to?
Quite a mix, to be honest. I think there's those that are, rightly worried about, the amount of uncertainty that are coming through, particularly those non-energy costs. But I think hopefully we maybe have posed a question today around for people who have already placed business further out, what potential risks are embedded in that they need to be careful of. I think equally other people who are much more switched on have some more confidence.
Your session was packed, the one on the markets, right? Which obviously all brokers are there, but I want to move away from the market side, because as we all know, no one knows what the hell's happening in the market unless you're, certain people sitting in higher places. But there is something that people can work on, which is with the changing energy structure, with the encouragement of decarbonisation, storage, EVs, we've had a lot of brokers today who are saying we need different solutions. Are you going to give those solutions? Are you having those conversations?
Yeah, and we have been for a number of years, and I think our whole premise is now that we're an energy partner, not just an energy supplier. So it's about much more than just providing either fixed price or flexible contract procurement. I mean, today we had our small business team, our medium team, our large team, also our infrastructure services team and our energy solutions team. And it's that solutions element that we're seeing more and more requirement for in terms of conversations. Customers want to think very differently about not just how they're using energy, but what the source of that energy is going to be. Looking on sort of self-reliance in some respects.
What are the brokers saying that their customers want? When they come to you, it used to be like, just give me a deal, and that's fair enough. What sort of questions are they asking you?
I think mainly how can they differentiate. So I think it's around what additional features can we bring into a product, that can we work in that sort of partnership approach. And I think even we've been sort of the flip side, proactively putting that in their heads to say, actually, there's a whole lot more that we can do for you than provide you a sort of good price and a reliable service. So how do we bring in ways and means of you firstly visualising and measuring your energy consumption and help you make some informed decisions about what you do on the back of that. And I think the things that we're now able to talk about very much support that.
We had obviously the demise of Utilitywise recently. Been a lot of talk today about it. How did you see it? How did EDF see that?
I think it's obviously quite a disappointing moment for the industry and certainly the intermediary market, because it's cast a lot of.
Well, it's such a big name. It's sent a big shockwave, isn't it?
It has, and it's asked a lot of questions of sort of consumer confidence in intermediaries, which I think is there was unquestionably talk of some very sort of inappropriate business practices. But I think that unfairly mars some very reputable and good, honest intermediaries in this market space. A significant proportion of our business comes through an intermediated channel, but we like to work with trusted partners who have a good, strong, ethical approach to their relationship with their customers and with us.
So Utilitywise, we run the telcos. They won the first telcos.
Yeah.
So, they had a good reputation, and then things seemed to fall apart. And I think a lot of the feedback we got today was there enough governance within the company itself, but was there also enough governance from people doing business with them, from the supply point?
Yeah. Well, I can stand and say that their demise was unfortunate. It didn't have a significant impact to us because it wasn't a business practice that we work with as a supplier. And I think this premise of remuneration for intermediaries and the structure and the timing of that, I think it's a very important discussion to have.
Yeah.
And I think that EDF and all the other suppliers undoubtedly have a role to play consistently in understanding that remuneration is fair, it's appropriate, and it's proportionate to the services that are being delivered. Above all of that, transparency, I think, is key. And I think if we'd had some of those things, we wouldn't have arrived in that situation.
I get that. Do you think it's made people reassess the brokering market? Brokers themselves reassessing how they're doing business?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Brokers are reassessing, customers are reassessing.
Yes, of course.
I think we've seen some more direct engagement as a result of that. Some checking, some sanity checking. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all, because it gives the right people the opportunity to demonstrate the value that they can bring.
And finally, no one knows what's going to happen, but the facts are the market is going to continue. Whatever happens with the outcome of Brexit, there's going to probably be a huge, vast swathe of regulations coming in. There'll be a lot of changes to the market, whichever way we go. Is the market robust enough to deal with that, in your view?
I think it is. I think it's whether it's the market or the people working and operating within it. And I think that what we've probably seen today, I think across the suppliers and the intermediaries that have been here, I think it's evident there's a really strong knowledge base and a willingness to do the right thing for our customers. So I think that continued collaboration and working, again, more in partnerships will be the thing that can see us through that, over and above working sort of against each other in sort of outright competition.
And my final question is whether, again, it was a question I asked another sponsor and I got from one of the brokers, is we're changing, we're having to be more advisory. Do you see that as something you'll have to do as well?
Again, I think it's something we're already doing. It's an advisory, we're many years past that conversation of a very transactional.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got a core commodity I need to purchase, give me a price, turn it around. It's a consultative sales and
are you capable to do that, though? Because that's a change in thinking, isn't it?
Absolutely. And then, going back to your earlier point about are we as a company, we've invested heavily in our people, in training and development, and our process for engaging with customers, both in the sales process and the post-sales process, is much more advisory than it is service-led. So I think that, and again, leads back to that sort of circular conversation of customers have different requirements, want to do different things. We want to be equipped to have the product services to meet that.